Okay, I've been working on this for about 2 to 3 hours now, and I think I finally have it. I think this is what we wanted. Yes, yes, I think this is it. Oh, please, God, let it be it. I took a swing at the ball, but I almost tripped. I had to take another step to stop myself from falling over. The tennis ball flew over the net, kissed the baseline, compressed, and bounced up. Then it was stuck in the wired fence around the court. Yeah, match point saved. Rocky was such a sneaky bastard. With Jimmy barely able to move, he was now aiming every ball at him. But Jimmy was able to get out of my way almost enough time, even with a twisted ankle. We were coordinating surprisingly well. After a while, Wang Quinn was left standing there too. The game had been a single match between me and Rocky. Maybe Jimmy was a lucky charm because we eventually won the game 15 to 13. What a great partner. I had won my chocolate milk. Hooray. Finally. Oh wait, I gotta rate this too. I fell to the ground and my ankle hurt like hell. Fortunately, we still won the point thanks to her. Now our opponents were hitting the balls towards me almost exclusively, but Li Wen was too good. And eventually we won. Oh, look at that. Look at Jimmy. Jimmy's such a dead face. More importantly, she ran over and high-fived me. Oh my God, she high-fived me. Oh my Lord. Oh, I like his jacket. It has a cute little cat on it. More importantly, it wasn't just daydreaming about this. She really did just give me a high five. Her hand felt so warm. I would never forget that moment. Ooh. Hooray! Finally, I can move on with my life. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Will A Wonderful World. I gotta take this off. I'm burning up now. It was freezing earlier in my house, and that's why I have a blanket on. But now, no. So we're off to a good start. I mean, we just did it. We got the S ranking. My boy Jimmy, my persona boy, was able to get his girl a high five. Oh, more mail. Strange teacher. I would like to consider going on to other people, but then again, I'd rather stick with what we have right now. Let's stick with strange teacher. Strange teacher. The last class of the day was art. I pushed open the door to the classroom. I was shocked by what I saw. What was happening? The room that only had a dozen people, and it was almost now full. It was like a scene from a beach in the middle of summer. There wouldn't be enough easels for everyone. Just when I was wondering whether I should leave and go study, I saw Jin waving me over from the front row. Why are there so many people today? I sat down in the seat Jin had saved for me. You really don't know anything, do you? Miss Louie is on her maternity leave, so we have a new substitute today. Somebody saw him earlier in the office and posted his pictures on the school BBS. He looked so handsome. Wait, is this gonna be the dude that tried to asphyxiate himself? I looked around and only then did I realize that almost all the newcomers were girls. Hey, sounds like me whenever I took a class. Why was Rocky here? What was a boy doing here? Is Rocky into this teacher too? Because, we're fine with that. I took my phone out and tried to log into the BBS. I found myself unknowingly imagining what the new handsome teacher would look like while waiting for a page to load. Well-made pink shirt, rolled up sleeves, top button unbuttoned, pale and flawless skin, impeccable face from the side. My Wi-Fi signal wasn't very strong and I couldn't take it for much longer. What, do you guys have David Schwimmer as your art teacher? That would really, I feel, work well. I feel like he would just be like, what the hell are you doing? It's not a very good Schwimmer, but I feel like that's how he'd react. Then the front door of the room was slowly pushed open. With everyone staring at him, the new teacher slowly walked across to the podium and softly wrote down his name on the blackboard. Wen Zord. It is him! Holy crap, it's him! I'll be teaching the art class for the seniors starting today. I looked him up and down and noticed that this was Mr. Wen was wearing flip-flops to class. His ensemble also included a pair of casual pants with the legs rolled up and a gray t-shirt and a wrinkled jacket. Not just that, his chin suggested that he hadn't shaved for days. I turned to my side and whispered to Jean, "How old is this handsome man?" Jean ignored me. I looked up and realized that the teacher was staring right at me. Oh no, he must have overheard me. Suddenly, Rocky raised his hand and asked loudly, "Mr. Webb, how old are you? And do you have a girlfriend?" The entire class erupted into a loud murmur. Everyone was staring at the teacher even more intensely. "Thank you, Rocky, for getting me out of trouble." Mr. Wynn slowly took off his jacket and laid it on the back of the chair next to him. 35. The girls began whispering to each other. "You know, as long as you're 18, we don't judge. That's just how we are. If you're 18, we won't judge." The girls began immediately whispering to each other. His response certainly had intrigued everyone even more. Rocky, however, didn't seem to be satisfied with the answer. Mr. Wynn ignored the commotion in the room and took a banana-shaped statue out of the accessory cabinet. "What? Why do you guys just... Oh, paint fruit. I'm an idiot. It's an art class!" People with an easel began to prepare their paper. The ones without took out their sketching pads. The class was going to be over soon. Near the end of the class, Mr. Wynn said that he would like to pick an assistant for the class. Anybody who was interested could stand up and nominate him or herself. Would need to check him or her sketch. Jean stood up. How brave. Mr. Wynn walked over and picked up the sketch. He shook his head and tore it into two halves. "The hell, dude?" Rocky stood up from his seat. I stood up from my seat too. And then the bell rang. Jean was sobbing. I was completely in shock too. Not only... You call that handsome? It looks like Keanu Reeves in anime. Not only did Mr. Wynn tear up his sketch, he even said to her, "Are you serious? Did you seriously just draw something like that? I will not tolerate this kind of thing in my class." What the hell did she draw that was so offensive to him? Sorry, Keanu Reeves. We were just some regular high school students. We're not in an art school. Are you serious? Rocky jumped right in front of the teacher. I tried to stop him, but it was just too late. Rocky punched Mr. Wen right in the face. Mr. Wen, however, didn't react despite having just been punched by a student. I don't think that's the right course of action there, Rocky. You're gonna get expelled. He simply gave Rocky a glance and walked out of the room without saying a word. That's probably how I would be as a teacher. I wouldn't get them in trouble. I'd just be like, "So you punched me. Okay, you're 18. I'll see you out in the parking lot." Rocky, he was always so self-righteous. The only thing more important in life than him would be his ball games. I bet if the bell had rung and the class had been over, he wouldn't have bothered and would have gone off to play basketball. After that, Mr. Wen never came back to class. Maybe somebody filed a complaint about him, or maybe I had always had the feeling that he didn't look like he wanted to be a teacher. The next art teacher always dressed impeccably well. He was always incredibly tall. Lee Win. You know what, Lee Win? I'm tired of you giving me your problems. Why don't you go and do something for yourself and stop making me deal with all your problems? I did not get into the appointment of God to solve people's problems. I did it to be with the Colonel and to be with Jesus. And, of course, Buddha. Because he wipes the KFC grease off my face. Okay, picked up a sketch. Bell ring. Go. Like, that's what just needed to happen. The bell needs to ring, and then he tears it up. Jin was sobbing and was completely in shock, too. Not only did he said to her, yeah. Yeah, win. We get bow ring. Rocky picked up the basketball from under his seat, casually walked out of the classroom and disappeared into the after-class crowd while filling the hallway. Other people were leaving as well while talking with each other about what they had just happened. Nobody ever mentioned picking an assistant ever again, either. I walked with Jing on the track field and told her dozens of jokes while she finally felt a little better. That old man, not only did he dress terribly, his temper was even worse. How could a school hire such a person to be a teacher? Okay, so... Rocky stood up, I stood up. Okay, yeah. The last thing he needs to do is tear it up, because if they both leave, and then he tears it up, there's no problem. Mr. Wynn tore up my sketch, and he even said to me, "I will not tolerate this in my class." Jim was frightened, and she sat back down. I was in complete shock, and my nose started to feel stuffy. Was that really necessary? Ha ha ha, you idiot, Rocky loudly cheered. That bastard. I made a face at him. Okay, maybe that needs to happen. I think Lee needs to be the last girl to leave the room. And then Miss Winter Roxy's sketch and said, "Why don't you bring this to class next time so everyone can practice with it?" Rocky's face suddenly turned into the brightest red I had ever seen. A minute ago he had been acting like the king of the world. What did he draw exactly? He punched Mr. Wynn right in the face. Mr. Wynn, however, did not react. Gave him a glance but didn't sketch. Walked out of the room without saying a word. Since then, Mr. Wynn never came back to class. If I thought of a plan, or maybe... I don't care. God damn it. Yeah, I did a bad... Okay, hold on. History. What was the best one we got? Okay, Rocky stood up. Jing Wasabi. Okay. Bell rang, sketch torn, and then they both stood up. Okay. Okay, so bell rang. Okay, you stand up before Rocky. Let's see. What that gets me A. Oh, no one ever mentioned picking assistant skin. Okay. Rocky stood up, then the bell rang. Bad. Bad. What are the clues here? Tore up Rocky's sketch. This is he'll tear up Rocky's sketch. Bell rang. Bad Leroy Brown. Bad Leroy Brown. Rank B. Tore up my sketch. Man, your neighbor's an a-hole. I'm just gonna say that right now. Okay, tore up the sketch first. What's that against? Rank A? Okay. So this is the path of getting rank A. God. Yeah, I know I'm not thinking rationally here, but I'm trying. How could you make this where no one gets hurt? Reset, please. Okay. Okay, so he tore it up. Bell rang. Bada bing. Okay. Rocky Horror Show. Kill me now. Okay, so something has to happen for us to understand the psyche of this class. Hold on, I'm getting something here. What is happening? Yeah, I know I'm in the dark right now. Okay, sorry about that. I just had received something and it said my security was in jeopardy. Okay, so restart. Okay, best thing that happened was give me the type A scenario. Okay, bell rang, Mr. Wayne tore up the paper. Okay. So I feel like he has to tear up the paper. And then what happens if you stand up? Oh. Did we do it? Jin was sobbing and was in complete shock too. Not only did Mr. Wynn tear up her sketch, he even said, "Are you serious? Did you seriously just draw something like that? I will not tolerate kind of things in my class." Seeing Jin crying like that, I couldn't control my anger. "Mr. Wayne, you are out of line. You need to apologize to Jin." Mr. Wayne gave me a glance and picked up my sketch. Bo ring, Rocky picked up the basketball. Other people leaving filed out the room. I collected my stuff in my backpack, getting ready to leave. "You stay and clean up the room." "What?" I stopped what I was doing and looked at Mr. Wynn in disbelief. He handed me my sketch back to me. "After all, you're my assistant for this course now." He turned away and walked back to the front of the classroom. I then realized that everyone was still in the room, was staring at me. Everyone looked like they were gawking at a circus monkey in the street. What the hell? I had no intentions of being a freaking assistant to this guy. Jing put her arm around my shoulder. "Congratulations. Let me buy you dinner sometime, you poor kid." "Jing, you're an asshole." I burst out laughing. "Well, whatever. Haha." Hooray! That was it! Awesome! Oh, more mail. What the heck? Tennis in the alley. Yeah, I could do one. I'll probably do one more. Wait. You haven't finished the letter, go back? No. "My name is Jimmy. I'm a transfer student. Arrived in Beijing not too long ago. The reason I chose school is because I have a serious crush on a girl here. Just a few days ago, I was fortunate enough to be her partner in doubles tennis match on my first day at the school. At first, I was thankful that I thought the goddess had finally smiled upon me. Yet I was totally embarrassed because I had never ever played tennis before." Stop with the text talk, Jesus! I'm tired of seeing these faces. After that happened, I made up my mind. I was determined to improve my tennis skills, just in case I had another chance like this. I adjusted the serve speed of the ball machine, walked back to the baseline, raised my racket, and got ready. In order to get better, I bought a season membership at the club. Oh yeah, because your dad's rich and you can afford it. I hate you. I even finished watching all 178 episodes of the Kids of Tennis anime. Now see, Kids of Tennis was an okay anime. You want good anime? You watch like Euro Proxy. You watch High School of the Dead. You watch One Piece. All good. I love them all. Even though I just started One Piece, but I loved One Piece because I watched it when I was like 7, even though I didn't understand it. I had a complete faith in myself. I believed I could only make it work this time. The next time I got to play with her, I would show off my kick serve, my pickup volleys, my drive D, and even my zero style slices to her. And she would look at me with admiration. I hate you. The ball machine shot the ball out with a pong. The ball came flying me 140 kilometers per hour. Is that 14 miles per hour? I don't know. I don't do conversion. Or is that 1.4 miles per hour? Someone do the math. Math scares me. What a sneaky machine. How dare it serve a ball when I wasn't paying attention. Oh gosh, my wrist really hurts. The doctor said that I had hurt my tendon. I need to rest my right hand for the rest of the month. That ain't gonna happen, boy. I mean, you're a teenager. You got them urges. You just, you can't do it. He said I should not even use a mouse, not to mention playing tennis. No! Doctor, I want to play! My dear goddess of fortune, if you could hear me, please heal my wrist. If it is necessary, I will even swear off video games for a month as a sacrifice to you. I could never do that. Don't give me ooh-woo face. Please, Jimmy. Alright, next letter. Let's do it. My name is Lee Wynn, senior in high school. Today, the art teacher assigned me as assistant for class, so I had to stay after class and clean up the art room. I tried to sneak a few peeks at the strange teacher while I was reluctantly mopping the floor. He was looking over the sketches that had been left in the room one by one, and then throwing them in the trash. It was just the two of us in the room. Neither of us were talking. Hi, W. How was your first day? It was my homeroom teacher, Miss Yang, who burst into the room and broke the sounds. She said hello to me and hello to Mr. Wen's arm like a little girl. What? According to what I had heard from Mr. Wen and Miss Yang went way back. It was also Miss Yang who had recommended Mr. Wen for the newly vacant teaching position. What's with this music? Jesus. It's like a church. The beautiful Miss Yang was said to be a notorious hard to get. Many male teachers in the school had allegedly been turned down by her. Was she involved with Mr. Wen? I grabbed the trash can and deliberately left the room. When I got back, there was no one there anymore. Someone appeared to have already placed the barrels of water dispenser too. It seemed that I could finally go home. Yay. It was starting to get dark, and when I finally finished cleaning the room, I walked out of the school gate and noticed that Mr. Wen was walking not too far in front of me, going in the same direction. That was strange. I thought he had left a while ago. I didn't want to talk to him, so I stayed behind at a distance, quietly watching his back. Such a bad-tempered and terribly dressed man. How exactly did he become a teacher again? Before I knew it, Mr. Wen had walked into the dark alley that led to my place. However, as soon as I stepped into the alley myself, I suddenly felt that something was wrong, and I immediately backed out. Mr. Wen had been stopped by two men, one of them in front of him and the other behind him. The one facing my direction was wearing a tank top. He flashed a pocket knife in Mr. Wen's face. I hid behind the corner and tried to peek around it. Mr. Wen took out his wallet and handed it over without any resistance. That was smart. I thought better safe than sorry. The tank top guy fiddled with the wallet for a while, then slammed it on the ground. 20? Do you think I'm a fucking beggar? He punched Mr. Wen in the face. Mr. Wen stumbled back and bumped into the guy behind him. He was still not resisting. The tank top guy placed his knife in Mr. Wen's face. Be smart. Give me all your money. Judging from the look on his face, maybe that 20 yao, I don't know how to say it, really was all Mr. Wen had. We were too far away from the main street and there were no one else around who could help. I suddenly had an idea. I took my racket out of the bag and grabbed a tennis ball. This was the time to test the results of my all-nightly practices. Ball toss, ball back swing. Please hit the target, please. The ball went flying at a speed of 180. Is that 18 miles per hour? A gust of wind suddenly swept up. The ball was blown off its path by the wind, and I missed the target. Instead, it hit the back of Mr. Wen's head. Mr. Wen fell to the ground with a thud like a brick. The two men noticed me, and they seemed to be just as shocked as me. They must have thought I wanted to kill the man lying on the ground for some reason. The tank top guy took one step towards me. I began to picture how they would force me into a corner, pull the chainsaw out from me. Enough with the chainsaw dreams! And cut me to pieces. Oh no, I couldn't stay there any longer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wen. I screamed silently at my head and ran away with my hands covering my face, leaving Mr. Wen there by himself. The next day, Mr. Wen did not come to class. The school put an announcement saying that he had been badly injured during a robbery and that he was in a coma at the hospital. You put a man into a coma? How do you do that with an 18-mile-per-hour ball? The announcement also reminded the students to be careful on their way back homes. It was all my fault. I should not have left him alone. There must be a better way. Li Wen. Dang, doesn't that suck? Sucks. How are these two even related? Oh, okay. In these two letters, there are some special restrictions. Special restrictions? Yes. Remember when I told you that the white pieces could only be moved, except for the piece, the first in black? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do remember. When special restrictions are in place, they are no longer that case. For instance, in the two letters, the two pieces 140 kilometers per hour and 180 kilometers per hour are in conflict with each other. That means that they cannot be moved in the same side. If they do, they will automatically switch places with each other. Both pieces are labeled a double-headed arrow, which stands for conflict. In addition, conflict, there are other special restrictions such as sequence, which deal with that when you see it now. For now, you just need to remember that the only piece with special arrow restrictions with a red sign like that on the right side. Okay. Keep my eye out for it. Okay, so I need to switch you two, and I need to make the gust swing the ball around. So if the Ball gets blown off, his wrist won't get hurt, and can continue practicing. I shrugged a little. Before I realized it, the ball was already right in front of me. I was so startled that I had to awkwardly block the ball with my racket. I had happened to hit the ball. The ball was too quick and it bounced off high up in the air. It was a perfect parabola. I then hit an old man who was practicing by. He ran over me, angrily started yelling. I kept bowing and apologizing. I was nodding like a pecking hen. People in the real world are so scary. Been there, buddy. The ball hit the forehead of the tank top guy exactly as I wanted, but it bounced off and fell softly to the ground. The guy trembled and fell to the ground. Before the second guy realized what had happened, I sprinted towards him and hit his back as fast as I could. I smashed his head with my racket with all of my strength. Then I grabbed Mr. Wen's hand and ran towards the end of the alley. But I didn't see that the first guy had already stood back up. I felt like Mr. Wen had let go of my hand and thrown his entire body into my back. And then I felt him slowly collapsing to the ground. I turned around and Mr. Wen was lying on the ground unconscious. There was a pool of blood, and it wasn't getting larger. Mr. Wen had been hospitalized afterwards. Since he couldn't teach for a long time, he'd lost his job as well. God. Swing. So how could you improve this? Well, I think he just needed a harder serve. I think that's all I needed. Ball hit me right in the forehead. It was so fast that it would be sure to cause serious damage if it hit someone. If it would be worse if it would hit someone in the head. In any case, I don't remember anything afterwards. They told me that someone else practicing at the court had called an ambulance for me. There are good people in this world, I suppose, or it must be because I had been such a great person every day. That must be what they call good karma. The ball was blown off its path by the wind and flew to the ground. Just noticed me. The two robbers step forward, began to picture pulling out a chainsaw. Jesus. Okay, I think I got Jimmy's right, but I didn't get hers right. You can fight them. Wait. Oh no. Mr. Wen, you can fight them. I screamed silently in my head and ran. Next day, Mr. Wen came back to school. He didn't seem hurt either. Although I couldn't imagine how he had gotten away, I was really happy that everything was okay though. However, I didn't have the courage to go back to art class anymore. Oh. That's not the best. That gets us A's. Does she need the faster ball? I think she does in order to do more damage. She needs the faster ball. Tried a little before I realized the ball was right in front of me. Blocked it with a bracket. And I accidentally hit the sweet spot. It actually felt really good. Wait, had I just hit it? Yes, I had. I had an underspin. I think, yeah, underspins are... you put downward contact points on it, and it makes it roll towards you, thus giving it a backspin on impact. Oh wow, I haven't learned how to hit an underspin shot. Bonanza. Bonsai. I jumped up and down with excitement. People nearby were shooting me and admiring strange looks. What does bonsai mean? Was he hurt? No, bonsai is a Japanese phrase. It means hooray. Although based on observation, lots of people outside Japan use this word as well. They are from different countries, and most of them are men. Oh, and they share another common characteristic. What's that? They are all single. Single? What's wrong with being single? Yeah! Everything. Being single hurts. That is true. Spoken from a dog. In the end, bonsai still means hurt, right? See, bonsai means being single, and being single means it hurts. This is very straightforward. I think I'm single too, bonsai. The ball hit the floor of the tank top guy exactly as I planned. I fell down to the ground with a thud like a brick. Before the second man realized what had happened, I sprinted towards his back as fast as I could. I smashed his head with a racket with all my strength. Then I grabbed Mr. Wen's hand and ran towards the end of the alley. 10 minutes later, I was panting heavily, and I realized I had already run all the way back to my apartment building. Oh, and I was still holding Mr. Wen's hand. Mr. Wen, excuse me. This is where I live. I quickly let go of his hand. Well, I might as well do a home visit then, shall we? Home visit? For a senior? By an art teacher? Mr. Wen, actually, there is no one else home. I walked in front of him and explained. Do your parents always work late? Mr. Wen looked up at me while climbing up the stairs. The sunlight coming through the windows in the hallway was making him squint. No, I live alone. I stopped in front of room 413, but Mr. Wen didn't follow me. He stopped in front of room 414. He pointed to the door next to him with his thumb and smiled. I suddenly remembered. The first day after I had moved in, the manager, Uncle's son, had told me that a very famous artist from abroad had been living in the apartment next door. So that was him. We had actually met each other once before. Yay! I did it. Okay, no new messages. So I think we're done with those storylines for now. And that is where I'm going to call it. Next, we will be doing... I think these two are linked together because they're... I think these two are just in unison together. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been Will, A Wonderful Life. We will be back with more story times. Now that it is becoming fall time. Yeah, now that it is becoming more fall and winter, I will be doing more story like videos. I won't be doing a lot of adventure games. I'll try to get around to a lot of adventure games and RPGs and all that. But it's like in these months, I like to unwind and just like read a bunch of stories. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I will see you all in Will, A Wonderful Life. I keep saying life, it's world. I'm an idiot.